Hey everyone, how's it going? So today we're going to be using one of the Pokemon you guys have asked me to use for a really long time. Snorlax. Plays a role in the anime, plays a role in the games, and is quite good, honestly. The first thing we should talk about is its move pool. It is massive. I mean, I had to zoom out twice just to capture the entire move pool. Pretty much every good move in this generation, Snorlax can learn. And when you have that many moves, it actually becomes complicated. Because which are the best moves to use? We could be a physical attacker, we could be a special attacker, a lot more special moves, but if you look at his stats, Snorlax has much better physical attack. So, physical attacker, right? Wrong. Very wrong. I don't know why you would think that. I'm kidding, but Snorlax does know Amnesia. Amnesia in Generation 1 raises special, which is both offensive and defensive. And because it knows Amnesia, while we will use physical attacks throughout the run, I do think at the end of the day, special moves are going to be what gets us through. But there is a long way to go, and like a lot of Pokemon you're not supposed to catch till later in the game, Snorlax doesn't get any moves for a very long time, meaning we're stuck trying to battle Brock with Headbutt. My first time battling Brock, I do much better than you would think, despite the fact I'm underleveled with a move that's not very effective. Unfortunately, while I made some decent progress, I was unable to knock out the Geodude, so I had to do some leveling up in Viridian Forest. After battling every trainer I can, including Rival 1A, I battle Geodude again. Headbutt does have a chance to flinch, which would be very, very good. We actually get 4 consecutive flinches in a row, so we have tons of HP for Onix. Unfortunately, it didn't end up mattering. Why? Well, I didn't actually get knocked out. We have Rest. And when you combine that with Onix's Bide, you can gain back pretty much all the HP you want and still have plenty of time to attack. The problem? We only have 15 power points of Headbutt. So even with all those awesome flinches, it really didn't matter much. I mean, it did because Geodude didn't use Defense Curl, but we need a critical hit or something. In fact, multiple critical hits, so we have enough power points for Onix, which right now just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Thus, I had to go back in the forest and level up one more time. But this time, you can see I'm dealing just a little bit more damage to Geodude. And while I'm not getting as many flinches, I only get 1 Defense Curl, leaving me with 9 Headbutts for Onix. Now, I will need a critical hit probably, but we are dealing quite a bit of damage. I can see it's going to be close. I'm getting pretty aggressive, and we just survive on 9 HP. And as it turns out, we didn't even need a critical hit. It's important to note that the one failing Snorlax has is its speed. I should have talked about its stats a little bit more, but Snorlax's speed is quite poor. And having a slow Pokemon isn't great, because giving your opponents an opportunity to do something is going to be much worse than with Mewtwo, Alakazam, Gengar, who never really gave my opponents a chance to do anything. Well, at least for Gengar in the late game. So that's going to be really tricky for me, but thankfully Snorlax is so bulky, it shouldn't matter too much unless we get status confused, which could happen. So that's important for later. For now, I am doing a month of videos starting on the 18th or 19th, haven't decided which one, and the easiest way you can find out is to subscribe, which would be cool. So, we could get Mega Punch in Mount Moon, but I don't want it. Instead, we're going to get Water Gun. That's much more important because, hey, now we destroy Rock-type Pokemon. But honestly, if all goes well, I'll never actually have to use it because I am going to try to battle Misty first. Like always, Misty's going to lead with Staryu, but unlike always, we're going to set up not 1, not 2, but 3 Amnesias. And notice it was doing 5 damage with Water Gun. Misty actually switches to Tackle, which does more damage. Speaking of Tackle, Starmie does outspeed me, but Tackle misses, and I do about half. Misty goes for Water Gun, it does basically nothing. I don't knock it out, which is good, because Bubble Beam did 9 damage, which is unbelievable. That must be a record for the lowest damage Bubble Beam has ever done to a Pokemon in one of my challenges. Heck, probably ever, since I don't overlevel my Pokemon too much, but that was as dominant a victory as we possibly could get. But before we celebrate too hard, Rival 2 might be a little bit more difficult, just because we are slow and Pidgeotto can use Sand Attack. Still, it probably will only take 2 hits to knock it out, so if we get a little bit of luck, this could be a first try victory, but let's see. All right. Sand attack. That's what I didn't want to see. We're doing about 3/4, and thankfully Pidgeotto goes for Gust on the second turn. And the next Pokemon coming out is Abra, so I can set up 3 Amnesias. This should be good insurance in case we start missing a bunch, at least against Charmander's Ember. Anyway, I do use Bubble Beam, and it doesn't knock out Abra, and then I use Water Gun and knock it out. Rattata then goes for Tackle. We miss. But then after it goes for Quick Attack, we knock it out with Bubble Beam, so it did knock out Rattata. And we're going to use it against Charmander, but unfortunately, it's very likely we're going to miss. But Charmander can do almost nothing to us, and so while that fight was annoying, it was fairly easy. And there is no other fight on these routes that should be difficult whatsoever, so we can skip all the way ahead to Rival 3, which, if you've watched my videos before, you know that we've taught Snorlax the best move normal Pokemon can learn in this game, Body Slam. Of course, Pidgeotto has to still use Sand Attack, so that's annoying, but again, we do knock it out, this time in one hit, so that's really good. We level up, Raticate goes for Quick Attack, we don't miss, that is 2 down, Kadabra goes for Confusion. Even though Kadabra has unbelievable special, it still does like nothing to me and we knock it out in one hit. And Charmeleon also does nothing to me and we knock it out, surprisingly, that's sarcasm, in one hit. So Snorlax is absolutely cruising. And speaking of cruises, after we're done with Lieutenant Surge, the only thing he'll be allowed to command is a cruise ship. He leads with Voltorb, uses X speed, but we knock it out in one hit. Pikachu goes for Quick Attack, we knock it out in one hit. Raichu goes for Thunderbolt. It actually does almost half to me. We might be in trouble. It goes for Thunderbolt again, and had Raichu crit, we actually could have lost. So maybe I should have healed, but whatever, we won. I don't want to complain about a victory, but I'm shocked we almost lost. And that wasn't even intentionally a pun. I was legitimately very surprised. But now that we've beaten Surge, we can make our way to Celadon City, and like always with Pokemon that are doing well, we'll head to the Rocket Hideout first. I don't anticipate Giovanni being a problem, especially because we have Bubble Beam. Onix uses Bind, that's pretty annoying. It hits 3 times, then Onix uses Screech, that actually could be a problem. We knock it out with Bubble Beam, then comes out Rhyhorn, we knock it out with Bubble Beam. Then comes out Kangaskhan. Giovanni goes for Guard Spec, we use Body Slam, it cannot paralyze due to weird Gen 1 mechanics. But on the very next turn, Kangaskhan goes for Comet Punch, gets more than 2 hits, enough hits in fact, to knock me out, and I need to reset, which, unfortunately, takes me all the way back to the beginning of Rock Tunnel. I was so convinced I couldn't lose, I didn't even bother saving at any point. Very, very annoying, but does speak to how good Snorlax has been, and also a good indication of why I don't use real time. That was just me being overconfident. I mean, A, I could have saved, but B, there was a super potion right behind me I could have used and healed up Snorlax. So, my bad. We're going to have to spend a few more minutes to get back there, but we'll probably beat Giovanni the second time around pretty easily. So just under 5 minutes later, I'm back at Giovanni. We're going to use Bubble Beam. This time Onix goes for Rage, we knock it out. Rhyhorn, we actually outspeed, we knock it out. And this time with Kangaskhan, it goes for Comet Punch right away, gets a 3-hit, goes for Comet Punch again, gets a 3-hit, and then goes for Guard Spec. So it still did about half my HP, and don't forget, last time Onix used Screech. So you know what, maybe battling Giovanni wasn't the best idea, but it only did take me 2 tries, so I'm not going to fret too much. And now after deciding whether I want to go to Erica first, I decide in fact it is smarter to go get Fly, and eventually, after doing some shopping, going to battle Rival 4. Rival 4 tends to be the most underleveled, and it's probably going to show. Pidgeotto goes for Quick Attack, so no Sand Attack, we level up to 30. Body Slam, 1-shots Execute. Dragon Rage from Gyarados is kind of bad, but we have plenty of HP remaining. Kadabra goes for Disable, and in Generation 1, Disable just hits a random move. Thankfully, it disables Headbutt, and we 1-shot Charmeleon with Body Slam. Half our HP has been taken away, but we're still pretty okay. Now, a lot of normal Pokemon tend to have problems with this next part. How are we going to beat the Ghastly? Well, Snorlax can learn Rock Slide. It can actually also learn Earthquake, but I can't get into Sylph Company yet. Rock Slide, while it can miss, and we are slow, it seems to be doing a good enough job. Note that Nightshade can hit me because Gen 1 set damage moves don't take type effectiveness into account, but thank goodness we didn't have to use Bubble Beam or something. That would be really annoying. So we can cruise through this part of the game and make our way to where? Where are we going to go? Do we want to go to Fuchsia? That might be difficult with Koga. Do we want to go to Saffron and battle rival Fivel? It was quite a decision, actually. How about neither? Because although I forgot about it writing the script, I didn't forget about battling Erica in-game. See, even after the run, I forget. Victory Bell outspeeds, it goes for Poison Powder, and I try to set up Amnesia. This was foolish, because that means that Victory Bell can use Wrap. I actually use Amnesia a second time by accident, and by the time I make it to Tangela, I'm at 67 HP, but it's actually not a big deal, because we outspeed and Ice Beam is now getting easily one-shot, and even without badge boosts, because we don't have Koga's badge yet, we just naturally outspeed Vileplume, which isn't very fast, and that was a pretty easy victory. So now I have to decide whether I want to go to Fuchsia or Saffron, and funny enough, I kind of do both. I go to Fuchsia and do the Safari Zone first, but I've healed in the Fuchsia Center, so when I dig out of Sylph Company, I'll end up right back in Fuchsia, but after I have Earthquake, which should decimate Koga's team. But that means I have to get through Rival Fivel first, and that's not necessarily going to be easy. Alright, so he's going to lead with Pidgeot, like always. We're going to go for Amnesia, and we're going to try to set up 3. Unfortunately, on the second turn, we get a Sand Attack, and we aren't outspeeding because we don't have Koga's badge. Ice Beam does one-shot Pidgeot. We miss against Execute, but thankfully it isn't able to status us, and we're going to knock it out with 1 Ice Beam. Gyarados, however, is able to start doing some damage because we keep missing and missing and missing. And remember how I said if Lieutenant Surge got a crit, we would lose? Well, that's exactly what happens with Hydro Pump. That's exactly why I use Amnesia, because it shouldn't do that much damage. But hey, Gyarados has good base speed. It happens. That didn't really work. Let's try this again. Before changing up my strategy, I still want to see what happens if I set up 3 Amnesias. Although the damage is starting to rack up, we have not been hit with Sand Attack, and on the 4th turn, Pidgeot goes for Whirlwind. We're able to knock it out with 100 HP remaining, which frankly is more than most Pokemon, even at a higher level than Snorlax, usually have at this point in the game. Execute isn't very fast. We're able to one-shot with a max-powered Ice Beam. That's 2 down. Gyarados goes for Bite. Thankfully, we don't get flinched. I go for Ice Beam, and it does less than Body Slam, so that was my bad. Then Gyarados goes for Hydro Pump, and that's how much it's supposed to do after 3 Amnesias. So we're at 65 HP, but with 3 Amnesias, this is pretty good. Alakazam does outspeed, but as long as it doesn't confuse me, which it doesn't, 12 HP is nothing, and now we've made it to Charizard, and either of our attacks should knock it out. I go for Body Slam, and whoa, that did... Oh, I leveled up, that's right. I'll explain that in a second. It goes for Rage. In Generation 1, man, there's so much stuff I want to talk about now. We're going to knock out Charizard in Generation 1. Rage, once you use it, you can only use Rage for the rest of the battle. I've rated it my worst move ever. Another thing to mention is Ice Beam is super effective because in Generation 1 only, fire does not resist ice. Another thing I want to mention is why I said Body Slam can't paralyze Pokemon like Kangaskhan and Pidgeot. In short, Generation 1 did statuses weirdly. Basically, the way they did it is whatever type the move is, in this case normal, it cannot status Pokemon of that type. Now, funny enough, I think the competitive battling community didn't actually know this for many, many years, and it makes sense why Game Freak did this. It was a quick and easy way to ensure that electric Pokemon couldn't get paralyzed by electric attacks, but they can get paralyzed by Body Slam, and similarly, a Pokemon like Snorlax can't be paralyzed by Body Slam. Gen 1 is kinda weird, and also kind of awesome. You know who isn't awesome or all that weird? Giovanni, who I've just defeated while I told you all this cool stuff about these games I've played way too much. So now that we've defeated Giovanni, we can head to the 10th floor where we can pick up a Carbos, a rare candy, but most importantly TM26 Earthquake. Note, Snorlax cannot learn Dig. This is the only ground move it can learn, and it's a very important move for it to know. And the best way to test how good Earthquake is going to be is against Koga, since his Pokemon are weak to it, although they have very good defense. I'm not going to set up anything, I'm just going to use Earthquake and I knock out Coughing number 1. Muck comes out, it outspeeds and goes for Sludge. I'm poisoned from the Hypno before. That's not great because I'm going to lose some HP to poison. But thankfully, Muck goes for Disable and I'm able to knock it out. Coughing number 2, I'm able to outspeed and knock out, but Wheezing Self-Destruct might knock me out because I'm really weak right now. It goes for X attack. That's not good because now it'll definitely knock me out. Only half damage done by Earthquake. Another X attack. Well, that couldn't have gone better, but in retrospect, I maybe should have battled Sabrina first. The reason I say that is Sabrina should be a cinch, because although Kadabra could be problematic, once we get to Mr. Mime, we can set up 3 Amnesias, although there's a 20% chance or so she gets a critical hit with Alakazam. That would be bad, but the odds are heavily in my favor. We just have to get past the very best Pokemon to ever exist. Alright, moment of truth. And even the best Pokemon is useless when used by a poor trainer. Recover at full HP? What was she thinking? I'm kidding, Gen 1 is weird. Anyway, we knock it out. Next comes out Mr. Mime. It goes for Light Scream, Amnesia number 1, Barrier, Amnesia number 2, and Double Slap deals exactly 2 hits, Amnesia number 3. Now comes out Venomoth. It still does outspeed, but Leech Life does nothing. And the moment of second truth, Alakazam, no critical hit. We took all of 26 hit points of damage. Not bad at all, and I doubt Blaine will be any tougher since we have Earthquake and Amnesia, and yeah, this is going to be really easy, isn't it? Blaine leads with Growlithe. Ember almost does as much to me as Sabrina did with her whole team. I'm going to keep setting up Amnesias, and thankfully, Growlithe doesn't attack and then misses with Takedown. Now we outspeed, knock it out with Earthquake, we level up, so badge boosts are gone. Ponyta goes for Tail Whip, we knock it out with Earthquake. Retroactive Super Potion with Rapidash, we knock it out with Earthquake, and we don't knock out Arcanine with Earthquake. I mean, we knock it out with the second Earthquake, and it never attacked me, but cool. That went worse than I thought. Now, imagine if Snorlax got Swords Dance instead of Amnesia. It might be even more overpowered. But yeah, that wasn't very difficult, nor will this trainer, Giovanni number 3. With Earthquake now, I don't need to rely on using normal attacks, and his Kangaskhan is gone anyway, and that's the toughest Pokemon Giovanni has. Alright, so he's going to lead with his trusty Rhyhorn. I'm going to go for Earthquake. It doesn't knock it out. It cannot hit me with Horn Drill. I'm going to set up 3 Amnesia, just in case. Ice Beam will do well, and I'm going to use Earthquake to knock it out because I can. Now Dugtrio goes for Sand Attack. I miss with Ice Beam. It's able to hit with Slash, which always crits. I do knock it out, but I'm at half HP. I outspeed Nidoqueen and hit with Earthquake and knock it out in 1 hit. Next comes out Nidoking, and it goes for Thrash. Earthquake does not one-shot Nidoking, and okay, I kind of deserve that. I mean, I don't know why I was using Earthquake. I didn't notice I leveled up. There was a lot. Oh, and I didn't save. Oh gosh, this has been the overconfidence run, but can you blame me? I mean, both of our losses, so to speak, happened on critical hits that, frankly, weren't all that likely. Although in both cases, even with that bad luck, had I just played with a modicum of urgency, we would win. So the second Giovanni battle, we're going to do just that and annihilate him as we should have the first time. I'm going to set up 3 Amnesias. We get Tail Whip, we get Horn Drill, we get Tail Whip, Ice Beam, 1 down, Dugtrio, Guard Spec, Ice Beam, 2 down, Nidoqueen, Ice Beam, 3 down. We level up. Horn Attack, crits. No, just did a lot of damage. Anyway, we knock it out, 4 down, and we outspeed Rhydon. That's Giovanni. I guess with 2 Tail Whips, it makes sense how much damage that Horn Attack did. Still, base 65 power. Anyway, doesn't matter. We won. There are 6 trainers left. And a lot of you are going to look ahead to how much time there's left in the video. And I'm going to warn you, one of these times I'm going to trick you. I'm going to end the video without saying who won, and it's going to be at the start of the next video, because unpredictability is fun. And after making, what, 55 of these videos? I don't even know, because I've made like 3 of these at the same time. I don't even know what order they're coming out in. The point is, you got to change up the formula a little bit eventually. But for now, whether I do that or not is up to you. What I am going to do, which is up to me, is to try and defeat Rival 6 without too many issues. Rival 6 does tend to be a lot more difficult than Rival 5, but I think we should be good. I don't know. Let's see. All right, like always, leads with Pidgeot, Whirlwind, Amnesia, Wing Attack, Amnesia, Wing Attack, Amnesia. And now we sweep. Quick Attack. We've lost just over 50 HP, but we level up, so no speed. We do still outspeed Rhyhorn and knock it out with Ice Beam. We outspeed Execute and knock it out with Ice Beam. Hydro Pump hits, but does nothing. It then misses. We don't knock it out. Bite hits. So we're just over half HP to Alakazam, and please don't use Reflect. No, that was the one thing I didn't want it to use, because now it can recover. Oh my gosh. This is going to be annoying, but we can actually paralyze it. Psybeam isn't doing very much damage. It's trolling me hard with Recover, but there's the paralysis. Now we outspeed. Now we knock it out, and now we can use Ice Beam. Like I said, it is super effective. Because Gen 1, actually, I think it makes sense that ice should be normal effective. I mean, ice melts into water when exposed to fire, and water is super effective. I never understood why that's a thing. Regardless, we win. And now we got to face the Elite Four. Now I'm going to be straight up with you. I think Snorlax should first try this. I mean, I'm going to make one small and surprising change to my move pool, but I have thought about this. There is really only one trainer who could possibly beat me, and it would still require incredibly bad luck. This should be a rare first try victory, but there's only one way to find out. I've mentioned this before, there are 12 rare candies available before the post game. One of them is in the power plant, which is quite out of the way, so I typically will get 11. We're going to use 10 of them, saving one for the champion so we don't level up in the middle. And let's see if I was right. Will this be a rare first try victory? All right, we're at the same level as Dugong, and you might notice, as I set up Amnesia, thankfully Dugong did the takedown rest strat, but I no longer have Body Slam. We have deleted it and are going with a Thunder, Ice Beam, Amnesia, Earthquake moveset. I'm telling you, I think this will work well. We knock out Dugong, we knock out Cloyster, we knock out Slowbro. Jinx, I'm going to use Earthquake. Even with the 3 badge boosts, it still outspeeds, doesn't do much damage, but if it freezes, it's an auto loss because you can never defrost yourself in Generation 1. Thankfully, that didn't happen, and we do outspeed Lapras and win. Now, Bruno would actually be kind of difficult if he led with Hitmonlee, because one high jump kick from Hitmonlee would do a ton of damage. If he then followed it up with Machamp, like if this was Generation 2, we actually would need to worry about Bruno. Unfortunately for Bruno, it's Gen 1, so he leads with a non-fighting Pokemon, so we're going to be able to set up Amnesias. Actually, why am I telling you what's about to happen? You're going to see it. So, yeah, we're going to set up 3 Amnesias, Slam misses. Eventually, Onix goes for Rage, which sucks. We knock it out with Ice Beam. Now, we do level up. That means Hitmonchan can hit us with a Mega Punch, and Hitmonlee does hit us with a Mega Kick. So this actually can be a problem. Had it used High Jump Kick, I actually think we would have lost. We might need to adjust how we use rare candies. That would be pretty funny if after all this, it was Bruno who defeated me, but someone who won't defeat me, hopefully, is Agatha. Earthquake will one-shot. It's just a matter of how much Gengar trolls me. All right, come on. No, not Confuse Ray, but hey, we hit it. Okay. Golbat is next. It does have Haze, which could be helpful, although Haze will lower my stats because of weird Gen 1 stuff. Goes for Wing Attack, I use Amnesia. Goes for Supersonic, I use Amnesia, and now I knock it out with Thunderbolt before it uses Haze. That would have sucked because it would have canceled out my Amnesias. It's not really helping since I'm not outspeeding. Thankfully, Haunter goes for Nightshade, and while I don't have much HP left, I still should have plenty for Arbok and Gengar. Arbok actually outspeeds me and lowers my defense with Acid. But this Gengar can't put me to sleep, so as long as it doesn't use Confuse Ray! Yes! Alright, had I hit myself in Confusion with a defense drop, that would have been really bad. But we won. That's really good. And we have made it to Lance on our first try. Shocking, I know. This moveset should do extremely well against Lance's team, so let's go take on the champion. I mean, I don't want to get too overconfident for a third time, but come on, what could happen? Lance leads with Gyarados. Hydro Pump shouldn't be too big of a deal. Okay. I'm going to use Amnesia. It goes for Hyper Beam, and Dragonair is going to Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Are you serious right now? Another critical hit. At least this time I saved, but man, oh man, this has not been my run in terms of just the most unclutch critical hits against. Well, I guess that means you get to see me destroy the Elite Four another time, and I guess I have to hope for a much less impressive second try victory. That really sucks. We had a very good team for Lance. I should have just gone for Thunderbolt. I wanted to try and outspeed the Dragonair, to be honest with you, but nah. Alright, now you defeated Laurelie, I actually screw up against Bruno Tuno. I forget to not use one of my rare candies, so once again, we level up, and once again, wait, we outspeed this time. Okay, so it was a speed tie against Hitmonchan, and then Hitmonlee used Focus Energy. So, man, that's a lack of focus right there. Could have been, well, I guess even if he used High Jump Kick, we probably would have been fine. Whatever. Hopefully Agatha works out just as well as last time. Maybe it'll work even better. Not looking likely. Uses Hypnosis, I'm asleep. Uses Dream Eater, I'm still asleep. Uses Confuse Ray, I'm still asleep. Uses Nightshade, I'm still asleep. And uses another Nightshade, I'm finally awake, confused, and almost defeated. Thankfully, she's a turn late with Dream Eater, but I hit myself in Confusion. And while I have a very nice amount of HP, it's actually not nice, it's awful. Another Dream Eater, but another hitting myself in Confusion. Okay, well, this didn't go as well as I would have hoped. 3 consecutive Dream Eaters, finally we hit with Earthquake, that's 1 down, but a hit from pretty much anything, and we lose. I can't afford to mess around here, wish I had Body Slam. Golbat goes for Haze, that removes my normal badge boost, which means I have 12.5 less than I should. Thunderbolt thus doesn't knock it out. Golbat then goes for Confuse Ray, and I decide, okay, well, I gotta use Amnesia because, I don't know why I did that. It didn't make any sense, to be honest with you. But good news, it really didn't matter because Golbat removes both the Confusion and the Amnesia with Haze. The fact Haze removes non-volatile status, or whatever they call those, is weird, but I'll take it. 2 down. And I level up, so that completely made the Amnesia totally worthless because I got back those badge boosts that Haze got rid of. Just total, I don't know what, one of the worst moves I've made in a long time. Anyway, we're not going to teach Hyper Beam. We're going to use Earthquake. Haunter goes for Dream Eater. All right. Arbok goes for Bite, and we have 15 HP to go. What will Gengar use? Toxic. That is anything but. So we have made it back to Lance. And we're going to use the Elixir. We're not going to use the Rare Candy. Please don't crit Gyarados. Please. I'll be very grateful. All right, let's do it. So, we're going to go for Amnesia. Hydro Pump still does a lot of damage. But thankfully, although we don't outspeed, he goes for Dragon Rage. And so with 145 HP, basically half HP, we have made it to the Dragonair. We do outspeed Dragonair thanks to Amnesia. 2 down. Now 3 down. We level up. Aerodactyl goes for Takedown, which is good, because we can knock it out with Ice Beam, and then Dragonite goes for Barrier. Had it gone for Hyper Beam, I think we actually could have lost. So, you know what, in the future, I probably should just set up against Dragonair. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing. To be quite honest, this might be the worst I've played in a really long time, but Snorlax is so good it might not matter, and we might get the second try victory in spite of this stuff. And hey, at least I'm noticing it, and, well, I can't really fix it at this point, but I can try to make up for it with a really solid fight against the champion, who will hopefully be the final battle. Pidgeot leads again. Mirror Move doesn't work because I didn't go yet. I go for Amnesia. I don't know why Pidgeot knows Whirlwind. Doesn't matter. Doesn't work. 2 Amnesias. This time, Mirror Move actually does work. Pidgeot uses Amnesia, but so do I, and that's all 3. Pidgeot uses Mirror Move Amnesia again, and because of that, we don't knock it out, which sucks. I'm really scared it's going to go for Mirror Move and Paralyze. It goes for Sky Attack. Okay, full HP. I think we got this. Alakazam goes for Psychic. No crit. No special drop. We go for Earthquake. It's knocking it out. 2 down. No messing around. I'm obviously going to go for Ice Beam against Rhydon. 3 down. Executor has really high special. but Ice Beam does knock it out. 4 down. Gyarados has been a real problem, but with 3 Amnesias, I do actually outspeed it. Thunderbolt hits, and that is GG. Oh no. Oh no, we level up. We're not going to outspeed. It's going to go for Fire Spin and win. It's going to crit with Fire Blast. It's totally... Oh, that works. That works. Yay! All right. Well, a little bit of stress at the end, somewhat self-inflicted. Unfortunately, we just had enough experience points to level up before Charizard. That's not amazing, but it was a second try victory, which is pretty good. And where does that put Snorlax overall? Looking at our list, it's going to be pretty good. I mean, under 340 in terms of time, and at a very low level. Having said that, there are many other Pokemon that have even better times and have gone through at even lower levels. So where does Snorlax find itself? Well, consider it struggled against Brock and we needed to do some additional leveling up, so it definitely should be somewhere in the A tier, and after thinking a lot about my previous runs, I decided to put it 10th, just behind Gyarados. I did want to put it higher, but either its level or its time was significantly worse than the Pokemon that were above it. At least as significant as you can get while still being in the same tier. So I'm very comfortable with it, despite the fact it now has the worst time in the A tier. I think it's definitely in the right place. Anyway, I'm working hard on the month of Gyros. Just so you guys are aware, it's not just going to be Gen 1 solo runs, there's going to be Scarlet and Violet content, of course Gen 1 solo runs, maybe a catch 'em all, minimum battle, some other special videos. There is a lot of content planned. It is a good time for me to try and experiment a little bit, because even if you don't like one of the videos, don't worry, there's another one coming tomorrow. So I'm going to go work on that. Probably won't get another video before the 18th or 19th. So until then, take care.